traveling through another dimension. A dimension of not only sound and vision, but that of a hive mind. A journey into a virtual land of both shadow and substance. A place where you can embody breaking the fourth wall, whose boundaries are only limited by one's imagination. Somewhere in between agency and a rabbit hole of saving throws. Welcome to the Virtually Not Alone Zone.
The branding thing is over here. Aha! Hello. Welcome. As you can see, I have converted the cat tree into a podium for this episode. Aha! Hi. It's Aack! Axiomatic anti-magic shells. And we're gonna it's one of them fancy defense against the dark arts understanding compartmentalized knowledge things I'm working on. I figure it's gonna work out like working out a stand-up routine where these live streams are like going on the club and trying the ones that get through, and then like that. It's gonna be, but it's a we do savings throws around here after a brief branding. Welcome to being virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hive Mind Chatting gets you a +2 on next stream's live streams, and so add those to this stream's rolls if you got them from last. It's honor system and you got to do it in your head. Choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. I roll it. If it's over 10, you take half damage from the mind control that follows. If it's under 10, you take full damage from the mind control that follows. But remember, Embody, we want what's best for you. Choose! Survivalist today with a 4. Get your bonuses, folks. Get your bonuses. Socialists with a 6. Lovers of wisdom. Baker's Coven. Heart, folks. Oh, this one's going to get you. This one's going to get you with a 2. A 2. And pair of 9s for the Indigo kids. Pair of 9s. Welcome, Embody. Welcome. Now, due to the nature of the fancy StreamYard's tools with which we use, I can star a comment, and I have. This one from Josh Garrison. The fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, which I represent and disclose I represent on behalf of the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency. Hello. I see the assassins have failed. And then I can unstar comments and go back to live ones. Hide this ones. I always pick after he rolls, says the Chris Show. Chris Show. Man, I couldn't find the music for this episode. Hey, Red Pill. Oh, I have that one. Oh, yes. Okay, well, here. We're gonna go over what they say in here at some point. So I'll just play it now, and then I won't have to hold your attention, because it's pretty. No, not a video file. What are you doing? What's going on here? I like having a podium. Oh, let's check in with Jonathan Dumere. With his, let's see, we got a 1 and 4. We'll do this one.
In Milton's Paradise Lost, Satan decides that he can do without the transcendent. He can do without God, and that's why he foments rebellion. It's something like that, and the consequence of that The immediate consequence from Milton's perspective was that as soon as Satan decided that what he knew was sufficient and that he could do without the transcendent, which you might think about as the domain outside of what you know, something like that, immediately he was in hell. And when I read Paradise Lost, I was studying totalitarianism, and I thought, you know, the poet, the true poet, like a prophet, is someone who has intimations of the future. And maybe that's because the poetic mind, the philosophical or prophetic mind, is a pattern detector, and there are people who can detect the underlying, it's like the melody of a nation. Melody as in song, the song of a nation, and can see how it's going to develop across the centuries. You see that in Nietzsche, because Nietzsche, for example, in the mid, around 1860 or so, I mean, he prophesied what was going to happen in the 20th century. He said specifically that the specter of communism would kill millions of people in the 20th century. It's an amazing prophecy. He said that in the notes that became Will to Power. And Dostoevsky was of the same sort of mind, someone who was in touch enough with the fundamental patterns of human movement that they could extrapolate out into the future and see what was coming. And I mean, some people are very good at detecting patterns.
I really mourn for those of you just listening, because I've been highlighting the comments, like Dr. Lenny Time saying meltdown, and Third Wave saying bully pulpit, stop bullying us, Grizz. But I did want to point out and highlight this one from Neutrino that says, I'll settle for believing I'm somewhere. Somewhere. Over the rainbow.
And Milton, I think, was of that sort. And I think he had intimations of what was coming as human rationality became more and more powerful and technology became more and more powerful. And the intimation was that we would produce systems that dispensed with God, that were completely rational and completely total, that would immediately turn everything they touched into something indistinguishable from hell. And Milton's warning was, it's embodied in the poem, is that the rational mind that generates a production and then worships it as if it's absolute immediately occupies hell.
Oh, I mean, I kind of put these things together for reasons, and then I didn't know which Dumir I was going to play, but I leaned toward that one earlier, and now I play it, and I also wanted to do this other thing where I point out that the other fella from the Nest of Vipers incident pointed me toward a guy, and so I pointed Gavin toward the guy, and then this happened, and the fact that Demir's thing here ends like this.
Hell. And Milton's something rational and completely total that would immediately turn everything they touched into something indistinguishable from hell. And Milton's warning was, it's embodied in the poem, is that the rational mind that generates a production and then worships it as if it's absolute immediately occupies hell.
The rational mind that creates a production and then worships it, yada yada, and then I'm pointing you toward Gavin and this guy. Coincidence? Or serendipity? Or just we should trust the author?
Is it a democracy among the people who want to be kings? You know, we, people interested in kingdoms, should, and like what I said to this man yesterday is, if I'm the king, it's because I'm a big fish in a small pond. So I might be like the king of my house with my wife and children. I'm not the king of my neighborhood or my city. So that's why I'm interested in being a good king, is because I'm a king. I am a king. We can all, yeah. There's a bunch of men, and that's another thing I mentioned to the man. There's a bunch of men who don't have a lot of responsibility.
There's this thing about reciprocal attention that is relevant, but I can't really go into it. Lunch is where on the Discord is the link to that song thing? It ended up in the town square, right? I gotta find that in a second. Let's see if I can get away with playing this bit here.
Power is a curious thing, my lord. Are you fond of riddles?
Why? Am I about to hear one?
3 great men sit in a room, a king, a priest, and a rich man. Between them stands a common sellsword. Each great man bids the sellsword kill.
Now, for those of you who want this to be a reaction and or commentary and fair use of this clip, you should know that a sellsword is essentially a mercenary, or someone who has sold his sword and will kill, he kills for money.
Kill the other 2. Who lives, who dies?
Depends on the sellsword.
Does it? He has neither crown nor gold, nor favor with the gods.
He has a sword, the power of life and death.
But if it's swordsmen who rule, why do we pretend kings hold all the power? When Ned Stark lost his head, who was truly responsible? Joffrey, the executioner, or something else?
I've decided.
He's decided he doesn't like riddles, you see, because the question is, if all 3 of these powerful figures tell the sellsword to kill the others, who has power over the sellsword in this situation? When the sellsword has no loyalty to the crown, yada yada yada.
Decided I don't like riddles.
Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall. And a very small man can cast a very large shadow.
Very large shadow indeed. And now the other thing, since I'm still not ready to talk, that I'm going to tie it all together with, no wait. You went and got this mind control for a reason, sir. Oh, I did. And here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what you got for your savings throws. All right, let's get through this. So the reason, wait, we did banners. Oh yes, we did. Welcome. It's LARPgate year 3, and I'm the TLC has started to resemble a room of requirement, and so I've taken it upon myself to start trying to teach Defense Against the Dark Arts.
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a What room?
I want to cast magic missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from. He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile.
Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
And as such, it brings you to today's episode. Aack! Axiomatic anti-magic shells. Shells. We got to the next part. Okay, so, aphrodisiac is a word that appeared in the streams about a week or two ago, unaccounted for really, and has been stewing in my mind and is now manifested as a banner section. And let us do as we do and consult with Miriam, and check out what aporia means. But first, the suggested search of the day was included apotheosis, so I clicked on that.
Apotheosis.
The perfect form or example of something, or the quintessence.
Quintessence.
Oh, that's a nice word to say. The fifth and highest element in ancient and medieval philosophy that permeates all nature and is the substance composing the celestial bodies. And since we're visiting Miriam, we have to check in on the secret messages contained in the word of the day, such as
nadir,
which, the lowest or worst point of something, which is sort of the opposite of the apotheosis we've just discovered. And we might
gallivant,
which means to go or travel to many different places for pleasure. Oh, it was the word of the day, and you said divulge, which is to divulge, especially secret or private information, to make it known.
divulge,
And it's scrupulous.
scrupulous,
Means very careful about doing something correctly. So clearly, the message to us all is be scrupulous when you divulge your apotheosis, lest you be considered a gallivanting nadir. And we need more of these. I know. Remember, Embody.
There is no agency. We want
what's best. As you recall, we're visiting Miriam over here because we're looking up aporia again, because gosh, that's a hard one to remember. Aporia, which is
aporia,
an expression of real or pretended doubt or uncertainty, especially for rhetorical effect. And what do you have for disiac anyway? Nothing. But what do you have for aphrodisiac? Oh, well, if you spell it right, I have this, sir.
aphrodisiac,
An agent, what? Such as a food or a drug that arouses or is held to arouse sexual desire. So maybe this is the agent part that arouses, and the aphro is the sexual desire, which would make aphrodisiac the agent that. Okay. How does that tie into what you were gonna say about the Aack? About the okay, well that's gonna have to turn into a fumble, I suppose. Let's check in with the hive mind. Luke makes me want to buy an elliptical. Well, what? Is he here? Oh, look, he's here. Should I get, yes, no, yes, but we're not doing the jump on the stream part until I finish the yucking part I'm getting through, and then I'll drop the link for people. And I thought today we'd do one of the Shadow Cabal after parties where, like, the room exists after the stream if you get in there before the doors close. I like portmanteaus. Okay, so aporia made me think of compartmentalized knowledge. When I was thinking of the bar scene, like where if there's not if one doesn't have an anti-magic shell, and they go into a bar, and they can be magicked into a state of aporia, which then leads to them sleeping with the person who made the aporia because they didn't have their anti-magic shell. And here's an example from today's homeroom of an anti-magic shell in use in display it.
With respect to God, with respect to heaven and earth, with respect to the world. And I think for that reason, as I said before, secularism has grown out of Christianity. And for that reason, that narrative is hard for people to swallow. And so, for example, I'm still not done processing Peterson's Easter thing. And I'm once I get kind of finish up with the Dillahunty stuff, which just seems to keep going, I'm going to go back to Peterson's Easter thing, because what I often find people really struggle with is this idea of Jesus' historical resurrection coming that his body actually came out of the tomb, and obviously built into the stories is he's still got the wounds on his hands, and you think, okay, but he's also hard to recognize, and so you try to figure out, well, what does this mean? And there's a strong desire to keep this as a metaphor and a story, but foundational to Christianity has always been this idea that resurrection is not just a story that gives us life within this frame of reference, but is testimony to us as individuals surviving what we all know as death. And that
well, as it turns out, that is totally not the spot I thought I was going to be playing for you, but it ties in beautifully with Aack, the agentic authority of compartmentalized knowledge. See, what the escape hatch of the Christ belief does is it overrides the agentic authority of whatever the arena is presenting to you at the time. And so it's like whatever magics are at work in the arena to influence you, they don't override the agentic authority of being in Christ. Let's see if it gets to the part I was trying to play.
That idea itself seriously impacts how we live our life now. For example, if you were part of the Confederacy in the American Civil War, if you knew the Confederacy would lose, which would not be a hard thing to know, you could pretty quickly not want to use Confederate currency, because suddenly the black market in Union currency would probably be high, because everybody in the recesses of their minds are always doing these cost-benefit analysis to say, I want to do this, and I want my best life now. That's kind of the default biological position we have. And so then Christianity says to people, okay, but what you're living in right now is just the front porch of a far greater life. and say, as opposed to ideas that I understand, let's say coming out of Hinduism, where...
All right, gosh darn it. We're going to have to go back and find it the hard way. Oh. One of my thoughts escaping. Turns out it was like 2 minutes ahead, and that was a minute. So, but I did use my new superpowers to star comments to go through some highlights here, such as Anami with, I had a dream last night that either Jacob or Grimm had a donation button enabled. Please share your dreams with us. We should set a room for it up on the Discord. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. And Red Pill with, it would be cool if we could figure out how to live chat in dreams. And who says we haven't? I object to this all-inclusive we, just like Lenny does to PVK's. But PVK speaking from a frame. But here's the part I actually meant to play that involves the anti-magic shells of agentic authority.
Thought I knew what the world was, and I can spend the rest of my life devoted to her because this is just a bit of what I will finally be. And so in that sense, I find a historical resurrection being a tremendous help for Christians living out this cruciform lifestyle. And this then was manifest, for example, in the Roman Empire. When the plague hit the town, people in their right minds fled. Christians stayed and cared for plague victims at the cost of their life. Why? Because they believed that what they were spending in this world was Confederate money. And so, and so for me, that's part of how, where I see Christianity's attraction. And then, people will come back at me and say, yeah, but what if you're wrong?
Well, what if you're wrong? No. I'm not turning this into a sales pitch for Christianity. But I want to say is like the agentic authority. I didn't dig it up because Hyun never came on to tell it to us. But as he shared in the Discord, he's boiled down agency to what you proclaim, or the capacity to proclaim a thing this and not that. That capacity as an agency. And I question him and I say, that's only if you're also capable within your existing frame to put faith into the proclamation. Otherwise, it's there's no authority in it without the. And with this agentic authority, who gets to write your life? What factors determine what decisions you make? This is part of the and like, because they believe themselves to be Christians, that allowed them to maintain their own, against the pull of you're gonna die, they got to maintain their character integrity of, like, it's important to care for people that are sick. I need to be the light in this dark world. So, whether or not a different LARP or concern will have agentic authority over you, you use your faith in axiomatic propositions to construct an anti-magic shell against the other influences around you. And that's for the Christian folks. That's this thing they call we're not here. We need let's hit Dumir up again for something. What the hell is this? It's from 55 minutes ago.
So you have to find that weird balance, and it has to do with, in some ways, with that weird balance between something like rigor and mercy, something like, you know, focus and openness. Like it's like a dance that you have to play so that you avoid the dangers of either. Because because sometimes when I hear someone's like, just tell the truth, it's like, when I hear that, I'm like, well, and I know Jordan doesn't mean it that way, because Jordan is very thoughtful about the way, most of the time he's very thoughtful about the way that he tells the truth, because he knows that some truth can be said with a bad intention, right? And you know that, you know, if you're in a couple or in a family, it's like you can say things that are true, but that the purpose is still like the stab. Like you
can use the truth like a baseball bat.
That's right, exactly. And so there's this balance that happens between, and the thing about that is, like, because we talk about technology, we're kind of running around that, is that there's something about a face-to-face encounter and the looking someone in the eyes that mediates that, you know. Because the problem, I see it because I fall into it too. It's like on Twitter, for example, you know, it's like you can say, it's like people coming after you. It happened to me yesterday. Some guy coming after me, and I'm like, dude, this guy's been coming after me for months. Like, he keeps poking me, and then I just like, I lose it, and I'm just like, then I tweet the thing, and it's like, like if he had been in front of me and we had been kind of arguing, and
if we weren't just interacting by worshiping on the Ball Network. Oh, okay. So I've dropped the link if you want to come in. I don't think I'm delivering on explaining properly the way that our faith goes into our axiomatic presuppositions that determine who has agentic authority over our knowledge compartment, or how that like if you take your faith and you put it into the axiomatic presupposition that there is no God, it gives you this mustard seed blanket of protection over like low-level demon interaction. But then when one really comes after you, you're so fucked, because when they get through that little bubble of we don't exist and exist for you, you're shattered. Your entire worldview of axiomatic presuppositions is shattered. Remember it.
There is no agency. We want.
For you, merrily. No, okay, wait. I thought your sleeve was rolled up again. It's just short. Welcome, Kev.
I felt a little guilty hopping in here.
Oh, I should put on a headset. Why would you feel guilty hopping in here?
I want other people to hop in here too.
Well, you keep it going long enough to give them a chance to, at least, right?
That's right.
By rowing down the street. What did you find about, like, okay, so that guy I pointed you at is essentially, he's like, all right, I'm going to do this project of self-reflection where I'm going to write a God character and I'm going to write a chaos character, and then I'm going to LARP them out and record myself, and then I'm going to watch myself and reflect. And so he's like this recursion of self-interest to form something. What do you think of what's going on over there?
I mean, that process of recursively editing your character seems really interesting. I think he also, like, when you say you're LARPing, that gives you a way to avoid the criticism, right? If he were to just come on with like his regular clothes and pretend to be the God character or the Joker character, you know, that takes a little bit. That's a little more risky. So it's nice being able to put on paint and get into a character that looks like you get to pretend to be a character, but you're actually just being yourself, pretending to be a character. That's what I see might be happening there.
The mask of the LARP. The mask of the LARP. Look, speaking of which, it's a skeptic. Doc Lenny time. From the Hive Mind chat and his own channel. I saw you did a stream conversation yesterday.
I did, and I used up almost all the time that I had, so I will have to improve my StreamYard access, but it was an interesting conversation. I was going to point out that we are all the lead actors in our own LARP and supporting actors in each other's LARPs. And so sometimes we just have to take the agency to step out and do something different just to change the picture of the LARP.
The picture of the LARP. Did you get from what I tried to present today the notion of axiomatic presuppositions crystallized by faith, like as the frame of our LARP?
I did. I'm not sure that my scientism is faith-based. I'm not even sure that I would consider myself a scientism follower, even though I have an advanced degree in science. It's just I managed to figure out which hoops to jump through and properly jump through them to be ordained.
Okay.
When you say that there's a shield, I want to also point out that that's like, I think that's also like a blind spot. It's not just a shield. And it might even be translucent, and it can actually change the way you see things as well. Like, so you don't even, like you had mentioned the demon might show up. It's like you won't see it as a demon. Like there's a good chance you won't even recognize it and see it clearly because you've got this lens thing that can be a shield, and it can be a wall, and it can bend the light. And so it's really powerful. Beliefs are really powerful.
We have a I don't know if this is an objection, a magic with, if we are closed off, we are misinterpreting salvation. Does our anti-magic shell keep God out? Because if like say the mustard seed blanket.
It's the perfect question.
Anti-magic shell, right? It's like if you close yourself off to the belief that there's like demons out there that can mess with you, you might also be closing yourself off to the belief that angels are out there to help you, and blind yourself to what help presents itself.
Yes. The beliefs are powerful.
Oh, wait. Down here at the bottom of the StreamYards, the sex appeal of the day. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Just bask in the glow. Bask in the glow. Hello, Luke. How's it going?
Well, it's a little difficult to breathe right now, but I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay. Well, you're welcome aboard. Let's see what I think we go to this one now that we're up to 4 people in the house. What do you got from today?
Well, I didn't watch. So this is the thing. In general, what I know of you, Grim, and what is it? Do you prefer Grim or Grizz?
It depends on how close you are to me. You're good at Grim right now.
Okay. I appreciate what I know, but I also would say that I don't participate in your particular resonance field to the degree that I feel like I can really engage your vernacular. It's kind of like Vervaeke, you know.
Let's ask Luke about morphic fields.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm crystallizing new behavior, so doing it the first time is really hard and confusing for folk.
There you go.
But,
exactly. No, for sure. I get that.
I mean, that's there is no fourth wall, right? You can come up here and do it. It's all it's just people inside bodies just like you.
Yeah.
Like, even though you see them shining on the screen, looking all fit and firm and sweating with the Lukes, as Freedom's
I'm trying to be like Gavin, roll up my sleeves here. So my general frame, tell me if I have this right, or the way that I think about these things in an abstract way, is that, and I think you're familiar with Douglas Harding stuff enough. I was talking about this a little bit this morning with Sherry and Hezzy. I can't do the guttural when I can't breathe.
All right, if you don't get there, I'm going to have to give people savings throws.
Sorry. So if you allow yourself to the point where you're headless, where you see where yourself is in the other, and you stop the self-focus completely, frames become irrelevant.
Well, yeah, if you're floating along the river, what's relevant is the motion of the river, not like where you're paddling. But that's when you stop paddling.
No, and so like another way I'd say it is propositions are inevitable. They're gonna happen, but they have to remain fluid, and your understanding of them has to remain fluid, or else you fall into some degree of dogmatism, either by yourself or with a group, and you fall into groupthink.
Well, that's a proposition you can pour faith into right there, that you have to do this or you have to do that, or it's the way the world works. It's what you're pouring faith into. But the subject of today was how like you can protect yourself from outside influences over the agentic authority of or maybe the narrative authority of your life by investing your faith into beliefs such as there is no God, or I'm on a mission from God, right? If you build yourself a knowledge compartment, an operant knowledge compartment, that you are on a mission from God, then all sorts of outside influences that would otherwise interfere with your behavior bounce off of what you've poured your faith into.
So the narrative that you choose to agentically have faith in protects you from other narratives?
It's like it builds a shield over what you will or won't allow into your knowledge compartment,
right?
Out of which you construct your frame of reality.
So, but isn't this kind of what McGilchrist would talk about? Is like the right brain and left brain. If the right brain is the master, it won't do that.
The right brain. Why would it not do that?
Because the right brain is pre-verbal, pre-articulate, pre-narratival. It's the unconscious in which your articulable consciousness manifests. And so it's what allows for error correction.
It's narrative, not non-narratival.
Well, trans-narratival maybe.
It's generative of the qualia of the experience of the narrative.
Yeah, but not even qualia that you could name. It's like raw phenomenology. This is where, like, earlier when you were talking about scientism, like, I love empiricism. Like, radical empiricism is just phenomenology. I mean, there is no narrative. Scientism is when they layer a narrative on it and become dogmatic about it.
That's when science turns into scientism?
Yeah.
Like theology.
Yes.
You're making me tired, Luke.
Well, it's making me tired too, so.
It's good you stay sexy. We appreciate it around here. Somebody ought to.
Oh man. If I was female, would this be like objectification?
It's objectification without you being female.
Nice. Be consistent.
With the cat. Chad likes it. Chad likes it a lot.
So what's interesting is maybe there is a muscle where we can practice going into other people's bubble, and then as you go into different bubbles throughout your life, and maybe being able to hop into other people's bubbles, you can begin to see what that shield can and can't see. What are you blind to with that shield? Or what's the cost and benefits of that shield?
Yeah, I think that I don't know how much that's possible because of like initiation, right? Because what you see in here depends a lot upon where you're standing and the kind of person you are. I mean, even for me, for example, to make it practical, like me converting to Orthodoxy, well, am I Orthodox? I mean, not really. I mean, I self-identify as it, and I converted when I was baptized. But for like almost 40 years of my life, I wasn't being initiated in Orthodoxy. So like,
but it's
to
your
what degree
current
am I
LARP.
Orthodox?
It's your current LARP. That's the degree. Currently, yes, that's what I do.
Faking it till I make it, I guess.
You don't need to be solid or liquid. You have to be pudding. Pudding like a substance that is semi-solid. All right, guys. I wanted to do one more segment on how to actually do an anti-magic shell. So I'm going to kick you downstairs, but not off the stream. If you want to chill for the after party, I'm going to try and do one of those today. But go down there, go down there. Oh, so sexy. Go down there. All right. Here's some branding real quick. Alright, and for your fancy Christian folks, they have this way of invoking a anti-magic shell against the magics of the world, and they call it the full arm. No, this one. They call it the full armor of God. And I know we're big fans of the KGV around here for whatever reason, but for what I've loaded up the Wycliffe Bible, whatever that is, and I'm going to go through that version instead. Hereafterward, brethren, be ye comforted in the Lord, and in the might of his virtue. Clothe you with the armor of God, that ye be able to stand against the ambushings of the devil. For why striving is not to us against flesh and blood, but against princes and potentates, against governors of the world, these darknesses, against spiritual things of wickedness in heavenly things. Therefore take ye the armor of God, that ye be able to... Okay, and then what is it? Gird about your loins, wear the belt of right wiseness. All right, that's why people use the KGV, dude. That's why. Now you know. Now you know. The new one? No, not the new one. They'll stab you for the new one. This one. Okay. Wait. What is it? What did the search box tell me? I was just failed to recreate the summary of my search. Okay, but there's 4 pieces, right? And it's here. Do it again, then. Search it again. Just start over. You're killing me over here. Yes, that one. Search it again. Aha! I knew it would work. But the pieces. I need the Oh God. Never mind. We're doing an after party. You can come in the stream. We're gonna hang out and talk. What's going on in this chat? Somebody in the chat already knows the full armor, right? That's what's going on. Is it Ansel Man? Oh, well, he did an okay job. It wasn't bad. Is Ephesians original Hebrew even, Jacob? I don't even know. It's in there. I thought it'd be good, but it didn't work. The link is down below. I'm gonna pull up a chair. We're gonna see if a Shadow Cabal after party works as a thing. Come on in. Thanks for being here, everybody. This was a show. This was one of them shows, man. This was one of them shows.